Well, it's a pleasant evening to spill some knowledge pearls over a calming cup of chamomile. C'est une belle soirée pour répondre des parler des connaissances autour d'une tasse de camomile à poser. I'm sure everybody knows about Blaise Pascal. His famous words go something like that: in a great soul everything is great. Yes. Don go am tout est go. Well, that's a matter of contemplation, a kind of some gifted food for thought, and that can be done in some kind of spare time. But for the moment, let me reveal the topic of the day. Today's discussion pearls, they are comprised of mixed action sympathomimetic drugs. I'm going to talk about few of them and few in the next episode. Welcome all to his Pharmacology Difficult podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Radhika Vijay, MBBS MD, Pharmacology, and this is the audio hub to get the best, simplified basic tips, strategies, methods, and lots of ideas to learn better, understand better, and make your concepts crystal clear. If you really find, and if there's a question hovering in your minds, is pharmacology difficult? Lend me your ears for a while and let in the magic of knowledge. To begin with the mixed action sympathomimetic drugs, first and foremost, I want to talk about ephedrine. Ephedrine stimulates both alpha and beta receptors, and its other route of action is to cause the release of norepinephrine from the sympathetic neurons. The route of drug administration for ephedrine is oral, and it's quite a long-acting drug. It causes rise in blood pressure by stimulating the heart, and it also enhances the cardiac output. What is its action in lungs? There, it causes bronchodilation, and it is a very potent stimulator of the psychomotor functions in the central nervous system. You might be wondering where and how it is used. Well, its main utility is to promote the urinary continence, and it can be used also to treat the low blood pressure, especially during the course of spinal anesthesia. Well, the major adverse effects can be easily guessed. They are on its account of the stimulatory actions. The major one is cause of the high blood pressure. Then the other one is the sleep disturbances. Then, due to continuous and repeated doses, rapid development of tolerance, which we call as tachyphylaxis, it is developed. If the patient or the person has latent or additive cardiac diseases, then the scenario is worsened. Toxicity of ephedrine is mainly due to the consumption of herbs containing some unknown and unusual amount of ephedra by the addicted subjects or the other subjects who are in habit of consuming such kind of herbs. So, to curb this practice, the Food and Drug Administration, it has banned the ephedra ingredient supplements. Well, that's a positive step in this direction. Well, that's a good brief account of ephedrine. Secondly, let's talk about methylphenidate. Methylphenidate is structurally a kind of, we can say, relative of amphetamine. That's another mixed action sympathomimetic drug, but not to be talked about today. So, let's continue with methylphenidate comments. It shows significant mental effects in central nervous system. In large amounts, toxic effects of the superstimulation of central nervous system are seen, and finally convulsions they pursue. The drug methylphenidate is categorized in the Schedule 2 of the Controlled Substances in United States. It has been seen to be abused by many people. Its major utility lies in the treatment of two major diseases, that is narcolepsy and attention deficit hyperkinetic disorder, abbreviated well known as capital ADHD. But it's never used in glaucoma. We can say that it's rather contraindicated in glaucoma. The route of drug administration for methylphenidate is again oral. It is highly distributed and concentrated in the brain. Ricillinic acid is the major urinary metabolite for this drug. Let's talk about another relative of methylphenidate. The D3O enantiomer is known as dexmethylphenidate. Yeah, that has its own unique properties. It is approved by US FDA for the treatment of attention deficit hyperkinetic disorder, that is capital ADHD. And like methylphenidate, it's also categorized in Schedule 2 controlled substances in the United States. Let's talk one more drug. Well, functionally the drug is similar to methylphenidate, but it is structurally very different, and the name of the drug is Pemoline. What is the function of Pemoline? It stimulates the central nervous system, but it is very safe for the heart, surprisingly. It's used to cure attention deficit hyperkinetic disorder, and it can be administered orally. It has a long duration of action. The major adverse effect of Pemoline is liver failure, and it's so severe and lethal that the drug is actually not used nowadays in United States. Now let's talk about a group of drugs. The first major group of drugs together, they are grouped as Naphazoline, then oxymetazoline, then Xylometazoline. These three drugs, they are grouped together. They can be applied locally on nasal mucous membrane, and their major function there is to cause vasoconstriction. Another group of drugs comprise of the isomers of ephedrine. Well, their names are phenylephrine, pseudoephedrine, and phenylpronolamine. So these three drugs, which are the isomers of ephedrine, they are utilized to treat nasal congestion. Pseudoephedrine is an over-the-counter drug, and unique feature of phenylpronolamine is its association with enhanced propensity of hemorrhagic strokes. For the same reason, it's discontinued and therefore no longer marketed in United States. Well, these were some brief and wonderful comments about the mixed action sympathomimetic drugs. In the next episode, I'm going to talk about amphetamine and a lot of its relative drugs, and that's the whole subject of the next episode. For the time being, a little sweet advice would be: bliss is the act of ponder, hidden are delights under, you is the power of discover, positive and pretty, let's set in the culture, good thoughtful deeds will lead to another. Isn't this word rhyme a kind of a wonder? For all the updates and latest episodes of my podcast, do visit www.pharmacologydifficult.com, where you can also sign up for a free monthly e-newsletter of mine. It actually contains a lot of updates about medical sciences, drug information updates, and my podcast updates also. You can follow me on different social media handles like Twitter, Insta, Facebook, and LinkedIn. They all are with the same name as Pharmacology Difficult. If you're listening for the first time, do subscribe and follow whatever platform you are consuming this episode. Stay tuned. Do rate and review on iTunes, Apple Podcast. Stay safe, stay happy, stay enlightened. Thank you.